We're at Dulles Airport, and if you notice all these cars here, we're waiting for something very special that rarely happens in the United States. It's the British acrobatic team, the Red Arrows, which they should have been here about 5 minutes ago at 10 o'clock, but we're not sure where they're at. It's a little overcast, but the ceiling's still pretty high, so we should be able to see them pretty good. Well, they didn't do a flyby. They're 35 minutes late, and that's all we see.
The drive-by.
That's it. Hey everybody, it's Mark the Lost Traveler. Oh, and we're ready to travel. Here comes the third and final plane. There's two Air and Space museums, one in Washington, D.C., and the other one here, which is my favorite, at Washington Dulles Airport, the Udvar-Hazy Museum. And as you can see, the Red Arrows have arrived, just 3 of them. The whole team, I guess they're in other parts of the state here, or I'm not really sure. But there was a pretty good crowd. Unfortunately, with the low ceiling, they didn't do a flyover. So all of us that were sitting out there on the road expecting a flyover, it didn't happen. We saw them taxiing in. And so there was a lot of disappointed people. Now we made it down to the ramp, and if you want to go look in the cockpit, you need to get in this long line here. Pretty cool being up close like this. Taking a look inside the engine intake. Front nose gear. Good rear view of the aircraft here. Pretty good crowd out here. I think I got at the tail end of the line, so it might be pretty good to go over there and look inside the cockpit. Aerobatic Team Royal Air Force. Go down here to the main gear. Not very much to these things. After an hour and a half wait in the line, and just a quick view here.
We have a pod on the bottom, so when you get back,
the pilot is Adam and the engineer is Ashley. Just wait for this couple right here with their kids, and then we're next. All right, and up we go.
Hey, how's it going?
Ben Ireland, the engineer.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Thanks very much.
Yeah, just be careful of this. There's a small gap here between the aircraft and the steps.
Whoa, but dude, you've been...
Can
I just explain some of the stuff going on here?
Yeah, so it's a kind of a really old cockpit. So the aircraft was built back in the 70s, and it hasn't really changed since then. So everything that you see in there, bar the red block, which is our GPS unit, which was added a few years later, everything is kind of as the aircraft would have rolled out of the factory. The one exception being in the top left-hand corner. You can't really see it here because of the cowling, but if you want to drop that down for you and have a look. So that top left corner there, where you see smoke control, that's different to how it would have been when it rolled out of the factory. That's where we control our smoke.
Explain the windows. What now on the windows here, where you got all the?
Yeah, so this is what we call MDC, which is miniature detonating cord, and we use that as part of the ejection seat system. So we need to eject from the aircraft. The canopy actually stays in place, and that explosive cord goes off and shatters the canopy, and then we eject through the canopy.
Oh, okay.
So some aircraft will have a rocket pack in the canopy,
right,
which will remove the canopy for us. Yeah, but we don't. We
so how old is this aircraft?
So this one. Which one is this one? 278 was built in, I think, 1979.
Oh, okay.
So it's
almost
exactly 40 years old.
Right. Can you guys can't do mid-air refueling on these, right?
No, absolutely not. So yeah, we had an interesting journey over here. We had to stop to refuel in Iceland, Greenland and Northern Canada. Yeah, so we've got about 2 hours of endurance. And if we fly at the right altitudes, that can get us nearly 1,000 miles, nautical miles. But yeah, we have to stop quite frequently.
Oh, okay. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Now, does the engineer during the shows fly in the back also?
No, so we only fly in the back in between different locations.
Oh, okay.
So when we get to a show, what will usually happen is we'll jump out, the pilots will head off, and they'll fly the show, and then they'll come back and we'll jump.
Now I go to the back seat here.
Yeah. A little bit more space in the back than the front.
Oh, okay.
So the back was always designed for where the instructor would sit, because this is a training aircraft principally.
Right. Okay. Well, I will say that was worth the wait. I am surprised that they didn't have mid-air refueling on those aircraft, but they are pretty old. I guess they didn't have it back then. Still pretty neat though. I don't know if we'll stay here. They're supposed to leave at 3 o'clock. They did come in about an hour late. But right now they're stationed over at Andrews Air Force Base in Washington, the other planes. So they might be leaving at 3 because there's a baseball game tonight with the Washington Nationals and the Baltimore Orioles. This is a pretty cool reflection off the building here of all 3 red arrows. Well, before we go see the red arrows take off, just a quick overview of the Smithsonian here. There's a 707, Air France Concorde, Enola Gay. We got Spitfire right in front of us there. The Space Shuttle Discovery, SR-71. Just an array of aircraft here. Pretty cool. This section, flight simulators. Just one more plane to refuel. I've already got the other two here. And they'll be leaving shortly for a quick hop over to Andrews Air Force Base. Pilots getting ready to board their planes. Okay, everybody's getting in the cockpits here. Last two to board. A couple more minutes, we're gonna fire these up, taxi out. Hopefully they give us a little show here. We'll just have to wait and see. Well, now everybody's getting ready for them to take off. You see the people up here. That's going to be a pretty good view. So hopefully take off this runway heading here. Should be a pretty good view. The sun's come out and it's pretty clear out now. Too bad it wasn't like this earlier. Okay, we're looking west because we got some inside information. Everybody thought they were going to take off on one left, but they didn't. So we heard them. We didn't see nothing though. Oh, I see them. Oh yeah, you're not gonna be able to see them, but yeah, they're starting to turn left. I don't know if they'll come back across, maybe. Well, if I knew that they were gonna fly out to the west, I wouldn't have stayed along with everybody else, but that's the way it is. This morning we thought that they were gonna come down 19 left and fly over us, and they didn't do that, and we thought the same thing this afternoon. So this morning everybody was disappointed, and right now everybody is disappointed, which is kind of funny because aircraft were taking off down 19 left, so we thought that the red arrows were going to do that, and I don't know why, because ATC knew everybody was out here, but that's the way it is. I guess they flew them out that way because they were going to Washington, D.C., but that's all right. We got to meet the flight crews, look at the planes up close, and had a pretty good time out here at the Smithsonian Institute at Washington Dulles Airport. So if you're ever out here, come stop by and you'll have a pretty good time. A lot of great stuff inside. And on that note, Traveler out.